Welcome back to the Evolution of the Soul series. I'm Cheryl Arts from Willow Roots. And today I'm going to talk about gratitude. It's talked about a lot, but I'm going to talk to you about it in terms of my journey because I really struggled with it. But I feel like it is a really key piece that helped me heal. And there's one key component to it that was really powerful in my transformation and in my healing. So I want to share that with you. And, I have kind of a funny title to this video and this podcast because it's exactly how I felt at the time. And so I've shared through a few other videos of my struggle, my first video being the dark night of the soul. And so going into that deep, dark depression and not really seeing anything in life that I wanted to be a part of. It was such a difficult time. And so maybe some of you can relate. Maybe you're going through that now, or you've had these periods of time where you've gone there. And luckily for me, my husband really encouraged me to see a counselor. And, it's hard to see that you need that when you're in the middle of it. And, I think it's really hard now. We're almost the middle of 2025. This was, back in 2016. But I think it's more difficult to find counselors now. But if you can, and they can be so helpful if you connect with the right one. And luckily I connected with one that was really powerful, and I did what she told me to do. And I think one of our first sessions, I was crying a lot and really upset, really emotional. And so one of the pieces, she gave me a few different pieces to work on. One was meditation. And so, that was helpful. Maybe I'll talk about that in another session to help kind of ease the mind. We talked about worry because that's a powerful thing. And I will talk about that at some point because I think there's a really great tool that she offered me there. And then she said, well, it would be really beneficial for you to start a gratitude journal. And, I looked at her and I said, I remember just crying and going, how dare you? Like, how do you even know what I'm going through? Complete victim mentality and, crying about what the fuck do I have to be grateful for? I lost everything. And so some of you can relate to this. I lost my ability to be a parent and a mother and a wife. I couldn't socialize. My life consisted of sitting in a room and, watching time tick by. I went for a little bit of walks and I sat in a hot tub a little bit, but most of my time during the day was not interacting with anyone because I couldn't. And so, how do I have gratitude for a space like that when my life changed so dramatically? And so, I really struggled with that. And so it took me a few days and I reluctantly was like, fine, we'll try this. I'd never done gratitude exercises before, I don't believe, or maybe I did a bit of it, but not to this extent. And so I went searching for a journal because I was going to write them down. And interestingly enough, the journal I pulled was from a time probably 2 or 3 years before that. And I was doing some self-improvement exercises where somebody told me to write down my perfect day. What would my perfect day look like? And so the front of that journal, there was only one page used, and this is what it was used for. And my perfect day was that I would get up without an alarm, that I could have tea in the morning quietly, that I would see my kids off to school, that I'd be able to go for walks in nature, that I would start doing yoga, that I wouldn't have to go to my 9 to 5 job, that, there's all these components to it. And as I looked at it, I was like, wow, I've actually manifested that. But I have a brain injury. So, even though I'd manifested my perfect day, it wasn't that quite perfect because I was dealing with a lot of symptoms, a lot of pain, a lot of discomfort, and a huge loss. And so when I looked at that, I was like, wow, there was this realization that I'd actually created my perfect day and that my concussion led me to that. And so that was a great way to start my gratitude journal. It really gave me perspective on the situation I was in. And so when I first started to do the gratitude journal, so open to a fresh page and I'm sitting there, with my pen and I'm thinking and it took everything in my being to think of one thing. One thing. And so if you're in this space, just be gentle on yourself, but just think of one thing. Today, it's just one thing. And maybe each day this week, it's one different thing each day. And I challenged myself that it had to be something different. Couldn't be the same thing. And so from one thing evolved into three things. But I remember that first day really feeling like I had nothing to be grateful for. And as I look back on that time, I had so much to be grateful for. I'd actually paid off my mortgage. Again, I manifested my perfect day. So I got to do all those things, although I was in a lot of pain and a lot of discomfort and experienced a lot of loss. I had an incredible husband who was supporting me. I had benefits that was paying, less than I was getting paid, but still paying bills. So I was receiving disability. I had a beautiful family. I had incredible children. I had benefits that could, let me go. And so, for some people, they're like, wow, how could you have not seen that? But I couldn't see it when I was in that dark space. And so, some of us get so deep and dark that we can't see even like a glimmer of light. And so this is what gratitude does. Hopefully it starts to bring in that light. And, as you start to, put this out on paper and think about these things daily, that starts to shift your energy and your vibration. And it also is a way to manifest more of it. So when the universe hears, I am grateful for my family, I am grateful for dot, 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 I am grateful for my disability payments, I am grateful to go for walks every day. When the universe hears you're grateful for these things, they'll bring more. Right. And, we'll talk about manifestation of more stuff at another time, but it really does shift our energy. And I would recommend doing this either first thing in the morning before your feet hit the floor or before you go to bed at night. And before you go to bed at night, it's a really great time. Both are a really good time. Before you go to bed at night, it kind of hits your subconscious too. So if it's like the last thing you write about, last thing you do before you go to bed, really good energy to go into the night and go into sleep with. And it also great way to start a morning. So you could do it both times, whatever feels right. And you can do it in many different ways. So what I shared with you, I had a gratitude journal. So since then I filled journal upon journal upon journal. I don't do that any longer. I actually run through it in my head or I say it out loud. So I have this particular meditation journey that I do. It's called the Soul Alignment Journey. And one component is what I'm grateful for. So I just run through all the things that I'm grateful for. And I list them until I can't think of anything else to list. And so that's a really powerful way. I do that when I walk my dog every morning. And I run through that. And so again, it's signaling to the universe that I'm happy where I'm at. I'm happy for these beautiful things that have come in my life and that, either that'll sustain it or bring more of it. So really super, super grateful for that. So as I was talking about in the introduction of this video, that there was one key component that really shifted my healing, and that was having gratitude for my illness, gratitude for my concussion. And I continue to have that until this day. And I think opening up my book to seeing that I had manifested the perfect day was really a big catalyst to having gratitude for my concussion. And so I was part of a group that we got together once a week. It was a kind of a series, a program at Parkwood Hospital in London, Ontario, where they helped people with concussions and brain injuries. And so we would sit and chat a little bit before we would go off and do different exercises and different things like that. And I remember sharing with the group when I'd come to the kind of this epiphany that I was grateful for that I would say 99% of the people in that room were so they couldn't understand that. And for me, when I think about it, it's when you can't have gratitude for that, we're in victim mentality. And it's okay to feel that for a period of time, but when we stay in it, it brings us down. And so having that gratitude, shifting into that meant that I was actually in control and that I could shift the emotions and the energy around my concussion instead, and it pulled me out. And so, I mean, I share this a lot because I've shared this in other videos about the why, asking why this happened, why me, why, wanting to get back to that. And when we understand that, when we understand the why, and we get some really clear perspective, then you can see this is for my highest good and that I'm grateful for this shift. And so, or the shift that's about to come, and listening to spirit and helping me in that space. So gratitude for my illness, gratitude for the space I was in was such an important piece. And so if you're not there, that's okay. But maybe aspire to get there, to have that gratitude for the circumstances you were going under, and to maybe get there again, asking the why. Why is this happening? What are the lessons here? What is this here to teach me? Or is this supposed to shift my path? And so getting guidance, asking for your guides, your angels to show you that path or show you that information will be really, really helpful. And so wanted to share this. I think this was a really key piece of my healing. There's many pieces, but gratitude was such a big piece. And I'll share a few more little just kind of tidbits of things that I've learned along the way. And another piece. So gratitude journals, thinking of gratitude, really, really powerful. But also telling the universe as things happen that you're grateful is really powerful. And that is thank you, more please. And so when something good happens, you're having this moment where you're connecting with this person, having this wonderful conversation, thank you, more please. Or you've got your business up and running and you have more clients showing up, thank you, more please. We have a beautiful sunny day, thank you, more please. And so really great way in the moment to show gratitude. Thank you, more please. Other things that, are such an enjoyable thing because the universe goes, oh, she likes this. Okay, let's bring more of that into her space or his space. So just, really quick way to invite that gratitude in and to share with the universe what feels right. The other thing I do in gratitude, I run my business, I run my healing center here, and I'll probably do this in another video. A lot of us in the healing world, we struggle to charge for our services, and there's many different reasons for that. But when I do that, there needs to be an exchange, an energy exchange. And so when somebody pays me for a healing session, I send them, I say, thank you, more please. And I send, a vibration and energy out to them that they will receive that money back at them threefold. So if my session was 111, I'm like, 333 is going to make their way back to them. And so really great way to have some reciprocity. So there's, energy coming to me after I've offered my time and energy. And then I do a quick one little back. And so that just tells the universe, yes, thank you. And much love and gratitude to the person that just offered that to me. And so, it's really about, we're such energetic beings that the energy we put out into the universe is what we get back. And so, if you're stuck in a really dark, depressive state, and that's all you focus on how terrible things are, you're telling everyone, all those kind of things, that's going to create more. It will create more. And so when we talk about what's going on with ourselves, there's this fine line of speaking truth, because we need to, we can be angry, we can be upset, we can be sad, like all of those things, super valid. And we need to feel those feels and we need to talk about how we're feeling. It's when we kind of get stuck in that loop and we become like a complete victim, and we can't get out of it. And so we need to be aware of how we're sharing. And you can share without creating more of it. And so, the universe doesn't hear the no in front of a sentence. And so I would say, I'm just not feeling super great today, you know, but the universe might hear super great. And that's what I want to attract, instead of saying, God, I feel terrible, I feel awful. This is so, I'm tired and my body hurts, and, those kind of things. Where if you're sharing, like, say, I'm not feeling super great, I wish I was feeling better. So different vibrations, different energies as we share. So just a little bit about the universal energy. Gratitude does this. So as I was saying, morning and night, great way to end your day, start your day, shift your energy in the moment, and whenever we need it. And so if you find that you're struggling in the moment, maybe pull out your gratitude journal and just try to start shifting your energy. So one simple tool that many people have talked about, and I mean, I can't say enough about it. It's been such a great tool for me, and I share it with lots of clients as they go through their challenges, through their illness. So thank you so much for joining me, and we'll see you next time.